Hello everyone, myself Dev Parbhakar, Assistant Professor, School of Law, City University. Today we are going to discuss as to what is preamble and what is its importance into our Indian Constitution. So before that, let us understand as to what will be our learning outcomes. We'll be able to understand as to what is preamble. We'll be understanding as to how preamble is important as far as Indian Constitution is concerned. We'll be enlightening the important elements as far as socialist, republic, liberty and fraternity is concerned under Indian Constitution. So this is our brief as to what will be the progress report as far as the constitution studying is concerned, starting from the preamble and its interpretation. Preamble is basically treated as the heart of Indian constitution, and also in many other laws it is treated as key towards the constitution, because preamble is our introductory portion. And if we talk of preamble plays a very important and significant role into the Indian Constitution. Let us briefly understand as to what is preamble and how preamble is important under the Indian Constitution. Preamble starts from "We the people of India." We the people of India means we the people of Bharat has our own adopted this constitution. It is not enforced upon us. So the literal meaning of this provision here stands is that we the people of India having solemnly resolved, we the people of India had gathered this and adopted this, the Indian constitution. It has not been enforced upon us by any other supreme authority. Preamble is very much important for our perspective and the Indian Constitution. The basic idea which was adopted behind the preamble was it confirmed with the provisions of philosophy of Constitution, because the essence of Constitution is enlightened in preamble. That means the idea of liberty, the idea of equality, the idea of socialist, the idea of secularism, the idea of democracy. These principles are enabled into our Indian Constitution, which plays a very much important role into our lives also, and the various perspectives of Indian Constitution. If we talk of history of preamble, it is worthwhile to note that the Constituent Assembly has adopted it and it was enacted on the day of 26th January. The preamble has been adopted and safeguarded the rights of the persons also and the citizens also, which is readily available into our Indian Constitution, Part 3 and Part 4, which means the fundamental rights. The Constitution and preamble, which is being the important element of our today's life, the preamble has been given to ourselves by us only. We cannot say that any other individual or any other supreme authority has enforced it upon us. No. We the people of India, हम भारत के नागरिक, the took upon us. That means हम पे ये हम खुद adopt करते हैं. The direct interpretation of this law here stands with that sovereignty lies with us. It is not enforced upon us. And as far as the Indian Constitution is also concerned, we are having the lengthiest constitution, the written constitution. History of preamble. The preamble to the Indian Constitution is based upon objective resolution of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has introduced this objective on December 13th, 1947. And this objective restricted towards the providing, not only providing to one person special rights, but to all the citizens of India, providing socio-political objectives, socio-political approach, and towards more the fundamental rights and directive principles. These fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy is very much important for our economical, social and political growth. After the preamble draft was ready and approved by the Constituent Assembly, the preamble was itself adopted by us only. And the idea behind adopting preamble was we have given this to ourselves and not been enforced by any other person. The basic provisions which has been introduced into the preamble was sovereign, democratic, republic. But with the passage of time, it was treated very necessary to add certain more principles into the preamble, which means secularism, which means fraternity, and this was very much important for us to add these provisions, because with the passage of time, country such like India, who is a developing nation, has grown so much, and the word fraternity has also added this, the influence of brotherhood. Initially also a preamble was drafted by Shri B.N. Rao in his memorandum on May 30, 1947, which was then adopted by the Constituent Assembly after certain principle was reformulated. What is a preamble and why it is important for the Constitution of India? Preamble is a brief introductory statement to the Indian Constitution, and it also highlights the basic importance, the basic provisions, the basic principles, the basic values which have been enshrined into the Indian Constitution. Also, the preamble serves as a guiding light towards the country's governance, because the major principles which has been adopted by the Constituent Assembly has been added into the preamble denotes democracy, denotes secularism, denotes justice, denotes fraternity, denotes equality, and these principles have highlighted the basic foundation of our Indian Constitution. Because India is a diverse country and we have people from various religions, from various customs, from various diversities who come together, live together, eat together and celebrate different festivals together. That is why India is known as a diversified country. Also, the preamble has played a very much significant role as far as the foundation of Indian Constitution is concerned, because preamble is not only throwing light upon one thing, but preamble is highlighting various perspectives which has been associated under the Indian Constitution, and that perspectives, namely social, economic, political justice, has played a very much important role in this regards. Let us quickly understand as to what is preamble and how the interpretation of preamble revolves. We the people of India, हम भारत के वासी, have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, into a socialist, into a secular, democratic republic, and to secure all its citizens. Sovereignty, socialist, secularism, democratic and republic, they have played such an important role as far as our provisions of Indian Constitution is concerned, that we do not have now to look towards various other instances. The idea of sovereignty, that means we have own government and control towards our own government. Socialist, the society in which the equal distribution of resources is there. Secular, that means religion. We have Article 25 to 28 which talks of right to profess, propagate and practice any religion. That means India and the Constitution of India is playing a vital role understanding the religious beliefs of persons or people living in India. Next is democratic. Of the people, for the people, and by the people. This principle of democracy is very much required when you live in a diversified country. Also, the principle of democratic or democracy has enlightened this concept that we are free to choose our representative. Next is republic. That means the political parties, the president, all are elected. This is a very much important principle under the Indian Constitution, that every 5 years we elect our representatives. And to secure all its citizens, first, justice, nyay. It is also based upon the principles of odi alteram partem, that means rules of natural justice, which also talks of social, economic, and political justice. Next, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. We are free to express, we are free to have faith upon any religion and worship it. We have equality. Article 14 of Indian Constitution, which talks of equality before law and equal opportunities, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity. That means the principle and a sense of brotherhood, bhaichara, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, which is also celebrated as the Republic Day of India, hereby again the word is used, adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this constitution. Working towards the features of the preamble highlights the basic fundamental values, fundamental principles upon which the governance of a country is based. It also suggests us and sets out certain principles which are important in securing justice in the society, providing liberty, equality, and fraternity to all citizens. In this regards also, the preamble also presents the principles upon which the democracy is based. And unlike the other constitution of various countries, Indian constitution is the lengthiest constitution, and it is in the written form. What are the four components of preamble? The preamble indicates the source of authority upon which the authority lies. In our Indian constitution, the word socialist, secularism, democratic, and republic plays a very important and influential role. And this plays a very much important role in safeguarding the rights of persons. It also states and sets out the objectives to secure justice, liberty, equality, and promoting fraternity and maintaining the unity and integrity of nation. And foremost, we adopted this on November 26, 1949, on which the Constitution of India was adopted. What is the purpose of preamble, or why the preamble is important? The preamble does not grant any power, but it gives a direction and purpose to the constitution. Although the preamble has also set out the main objectives upon which the constitution will work, preamble is very much important for our Indian constitution because it has highlighted various fundamentals which are required in proper functioning of our Indian constitution. And the proper function of preamble here is to explain them and to recite certain facts which are very much important for the governance of our country. It may be legitimately also noted down here that the purpose of solving an ambiguity or fixing the words, if there is any, is very much important as far as the governance of country is concerned, because preamble evolves the basic structure, and the basic structure which is evolved under the Indian Constitution under the preamble has been enshrined in Article 368 of the Constitution, which talks of the majority of people, that the how amendment can be taken care of, how the basic structure is important in the governance of the country. Let us understand by terminology as to every word preamble which is given under preamble. First, sovereign. The preamble claims that India is a sovereign state. Sovereign means that India has its own independent authority, and we are not dependent upon any external power. India is self-sufficient as far as the legislation is concerned. The word socialist here, which was added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment, has talked of democracy. It said that India has adopted democratic socialism structure, which means we have mixed economy, where both private and public sector coexist. The word secularism, which is incorporated in the preamble by the 42nd Amendment Act, describes that Article 25 to 28 of Indian Constitution denotes every person or citizen of India can profess, propagate and practice any religion. We cannot force someone to change the religion, or we cannot force someone to practice or profess any particular religion. Also, under the right to religion, it has been adopted and beautifully said that you cannot promote any particular religion in any education institutions also. Why? Because every religion has its own sentiments and ideologies upon which the Indian citizens profess and propagate it. That is why the fundamental rights which are enshrined into the Indian Constitution supports and guarantee it to its citizens freedom of religion as fundamental right, and this is also held in S.R. Bommai versus Union of India. Next important principle is democratic. The term democratic means that every other constitution but Indian Constitution has played a very vital role in safeguarding the rights of persons in India, because democracy means of the people, for the people and by the people, and this preamble has resolved India to be a democratic country. Why? Because supreme power lies with the people. And also in the preamble, the term democracy is used for political, economic and social democracy. That is why it is the responsibility of the representative government for one vote, one value, independent judiciary, etc. as being the features of democracy. Next important feature is republic. In India, the head of state is elected by the people directly or indirectly. And in India, the president is the head of state. The president of India is elected by the people. That is why the Indian Constitution is based upon the democracy. That means the sovereignty is vested in the people rather than a monarch. Next important principle is justice, nyaya. The term justice in the preamble has been distinctly connected with social, economic, and political factors. That is why, when it comes to society, everyone is equal in the society and under the Indian Constitution. Everyone is free to elect its representative under the political edge. Everyone is liable to get equal distribution of equal resources. That is why the social justice in the preamble has also meant with equitable principles of resources and social status. The economic factors which are connected under the Indian Constitution talks of concentrated wealth, that means equal distribution of resources. That is why the Indian Constitution provides for universal value and equal value for each vote. Next is liberty. Liberty implies absence of restraints or domination on the activities of an individual, such as freedom from slavery, imprisonment, etc. The preamble provides for liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. The freedom of expression has also been given under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, which means freedoms: freedom of speech and expression, freedom to settle without arms, etc. Equality, which is given under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, also talks of rule of law, which has been propounded by A.V. Dicey. It means that everyone is equal in the society and law will be the supreme authority. The preamble provides for equal status, opportunity of the people of the country. That means nobody can be discriminated on the basis of caste, sex, color, and creed, etc. That is why the equality denotes equal right to equality, equality before law, and equal opportunities shall be given to every person living in India. Fraternity, which means the feeling of brotherhood, bhaichara. As already discussed, that India is a land of diversities and various culture. Different persons of different religion resides into the territory of India. That is why the feeling of brotherhood shall be maintained in every other person, whether he belongs to Hindu religion, Muslim religion, or any other religion. Amendment in the preamble. In 1976, the word socialist, secular, and integrity were added to the preamble, and the Honorable Supreme Court in this regard held that this amendment is valid in nature. Why? Because as far as the Indian Constitution is concerned, it talks of rights of people. It talks of how the governance shall be done, and without these three major principles, the Indian Constitution were somewhere not justifying with the powers and rights of the people. Let us understand as to what were the landmark judgment in regards to the preamble. In the case of A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras, it was contended that the preamble to our constitution gives India a democratic constitution. Why? Because democracy is of the people, for the people, and by the people. And democracy, being an important principle, has highlighted that every person who belongs to India can enjoy, elect, and choose the representative. In the case of Beroberi Union case, which is also treated as a landmark judgment under the Indian Constitution, the Honorable Supreme Court in this case held that if the terms used in any of the articles in the Constitution are ambiguous or capable of two meanings, by interpreting them, some assistance may be sought. That means we could avoid the ambiguities or uncertainties, if any, into the Indian Constitution. Because the idea which we are promoting into the Indian Constitution is sovereignty, integrity, and these principles should be without any ambiguities. Is preamble part of Constitution? This matter has been highlighted in two important judgments under the Indian Constitution. First, the Beruberi case. Second, Keswananda Bharati case. These two important judgments under the Indian Constitution has highlighted that in case of Beruberi Enclave versus Union of India, the court ruled that preamble to the Constitution contains declaration which is made by the people of India, and in exercising this, there is no doubt that it is only a key to open mind of makers. That is why the preamble is not a part of the Constitution, because it was idea that the preamble only talks of general purpose. The preamble only talks of special provisions, but it cannot be a part of the Constitution. This case was challenged, and later in the case of Keswananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, the case itself has created history by highlighting that preamble is the part of Indian Constitution. A 13th judge bench assembled and heard this petition, holding out that the preamble to the Constitution of India is a part of the Constitution. That the preamble is not a source of power or a source of limitation or prohibition, but the preamble has a significant role in playing the interpretation of statutes. Keswananda Bharati case is itself a milestone and treated as a landmark judgment, because it was such a turning point in the constitutional history that it was held that preamble is a part of the Constitution and therefore is amendable under Article 368. But one thing which shall be kept in mind is that we could not affect the basic structure. If the amendment is amending the basic structure, then that amendment has to be declared void, because if the basic structure is not satisfied and if the basic structure cannot meet the ends of the people, then the basic structure is itself not providing rights to the people. And Article 14, Article 15, 16, 17 to Article 32, they are very much important for sustaining the rights of people. That is why we can amend the Constitution, but we cannot change the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. In the case of Union Government versus LIC of India, the Supreme Court had held that preamble is the part of the Constitution. Hence, the preamble to the Constitution remains beautifully worded. That is why it is enacted as we the people of India, हम भारत के वासियों ने मिलकर preamble को adopt करा है. The proper justification for constitution provisions and highlighting the basic structure of the Indian Constitution had cited the judgments of preamble very much thoroughly. And if I spoke specifically of Keswananda Bharati's case, this case has very much thrown and enlightened us upon the preamble. Let us conclude upon this notion that preamble of the Indian Constitution serves as a guiding force for the country's governance. It also sets out objectives, ideals, principles which shape our democracy. And that is why these principles of justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, secularism plays a very much important role in safeguarding the rights of people. That is why the preamble not only promotes this but also talks of fair, just and equitable procedure. And it is also the reflection of the aspirations and values of the people of India. That is why upon which the country could grow, progress and develop. So this was all about the preamble. Thank you.